This is my second one today. All right. Yeah. I don't really fuck around. You know what I'm saying? If you go drink some water, you gotta make sure. Cause you 70% water, dog. Your body 70% water. Stop putting that bullshit in your body, man. It's too much sugar. Look at you. Your face looking crystallized. You proud of that? You got a puppy now. You got to be here to take care of her. Look at you. What's good, man? What's good, y'all? You got another show. The title of this show is The Pelicans Analytics Predict Good Fortune for the 24-25 Pelicans. I'm Chris. That's Lito. We here. The best podcasters in the world. You know what it is, man.
For me, the best chemistry, the best artist, the best producer in the world. I don't think nothing can fade.
Man, the French ain't no joke. I mean, they got people jacking them from everywhere.
For sure. And, you know, we ain't giving our flavor. Let them get it how they live. Do their own thing. Cause we work hard to build this sound. And with the rappers and the flossing and all the balling we talk about, that's our thing. We created that and we're going to run with that. But it's going to...
Hey, we created that and we gonna run with that. Make sure that them last two sentences, you don't get that tangled or twisted, because that's important in the story. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a lot of self-righteous you know what I'm saying, podcasts coming forth, you know what I'm saying? And they're gonna be talking to y'all and giving y'all this and this, that, and the third. Just know when they ain't had nothing to talk about, who was here. You know what I'm saying? And we go righteously into the season with that. But this podcast is sponsored to you by the Scott Vignette Law Firm. Hurt 504-500-1111. Them a call, support them because they support us. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's Lito. I'm Chris. What's good?
What's up, y'all? What's good, man? We here, man. You know, we about to talk a little math with an F.
We talking math? Yeah.
Math.
Hoffa?
No.
Oh, okay. We ain't talking math.
You kind of look like Math Hoffa.
All right. Let's just move forward, man.
What?
Okay. Let's just keep going. Math Hoffa, a terrible battle rapper. So how you feel about BG and Turk beefing?
Man, you know, I feel like they've been at this for a little bit now, to where it's just like I just accept it for what it is. I think Manny Fresh though kind of explained it the best way that I would. Like Manny was saying, like we don't come from this internet era, you know. So if y'all got issues or y'all got problems, like, you know, handle it off screen. You know what I mean? Handle it off the camera. And it's like, look, like he said, we ain't got much time. Like this our time. It's time to, you know, for all of us to make a lot of money. It ain't gonna be, you know, 5 years from now, it ain't gonna be the same when you talk about the Hot Boys being together. It might not even be promised to be here. He said now is the time to figure it out. Like, you know, to really, you know what I'm saying, like make history and make money. Now is what the people want. And he said you either gonna mess it up over ego, you know, and pride or something small, or we gonna figure it out. And I think Manny was taking them more so, like he always been trying to kind of bring everything together.
Yep.
So shout out to Manny, man.
Shout out to Manny for being dope. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I hope them boys figure it out, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, look, like, you know, you ain't gotta like the person you working next to. You know, y'all ain't gotta be best friends or partners or whatever. But this situation, man, for a city that I think sometimes lacks like that togetherness, lacks like the unity, like the Hot Boys being back together with all the division that's happened through Cash Money and through Hot Boys, like over the years, like that says something. And it's the example that I think, or more example that the region and the city just need to see, bro. And even if it's for one show, like that speaks more than shit many things can, to be honest.
Man, it's the lack of awareness. I don't know. I think Jeezy got a kind of a. I don't know what Turk said, but Jeezy said that Turk called him a snitch. I understand his stance. I get it, but I think y'all not the artist that y'all was pre-Katrina. Like nobody, in the words of my man, nobody come and see this. They come and see Wayne, and they come and see Juvie because Juvie's still culturally relevant. You gotta get it in where you fit, and technically, like, you can't pause. You can't put I'm not even gonna say that, but you just gotta
you about to be flagrant, huh?
Yeah, it was about to be one of them ones. It's about to be one of them ones. I'm glad I
look, it's somebody, Lito, it's someone in the comment 6 minutes in, y'all ain't talk. Fuck all that, man. You know what I'm saying? This show is more than just about whatever the topic say, man. Skim past it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to kick it, or you want a 10-minute show about like no. And if you do, too bad, bro. Like, this is what we here to do. We here to, you know what I mean, chop it up, man. You know, and then we eventually just know that we thought a little bit about this title. So what the show's supposed to be about? It's gonna be about, man. But chill out, man.
Hey, with that being said, can I tell you in this situation who I think, like, let me show you who I think Manny, Juvie, and like probably Wayne are in this particular situation.
All right.
This is maturing, is realizing that like your friends are annoying and you don't want to be with them sometimes, right? And this when I saw this video and when it happened,
is this what Dame and
yes,
and Bleak and Hov got that look on his face? Yep.
Tell me about some of this.
Dog.
It's live. We the champions. You heard Michael Jackson.
Like, why? Why?
Crazy. Big event, 20,000. It's the Rock, you bastards. As always, you heard? Holla.
Throwing up gang signs, goddamn.
Hey, man,
that's what going on.
Man, they won't be there, man. Hov right there. Hov like, this shit over. I'm done.
That was the end right there and there.
I'm done here, man. But anyways, man, we here to talk about. So if you want to fast forward to the first 7 minutes, I'm gonna write that as a timestamp. So you know, anyways, we're talking about functionality, and we're talking about the Pelicans, and we're talking about analytics, and I guess, man, I'm trying to find a good intro into the situation. Like, okay, check this out. What player do you want to start with?
Let's start with Brandon. Let's start with Brandon.
Okay. All right. So we got a couple ways, we got a couple different directions we could go with Brandon. Brandon is in a weird situation. I ain't gonna lie, because we said this on many shows. The Pelicans need Brandon to play well. But then they don't plan on paying him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need you to show up for work and we need you to do well, but it ain't gonna be us that pay you. So you kind of, I guess in some words, auditioning for your next team, or are you willing to take a lesser number than what it is that you want?
Bro, we talking about a good player in a bad situation and a questionable fit.
Who made the situation bad? How did the situation get bad? Let's start there.
He did. The organization did. The staff did. Zion maybe did. I mean, but he holds I guess the largest share of the responsibility falls on his shoulders.
Just because of the shooting?
No, I mean, just when we just talking about adapting, period. Like, if Brandon didn't shoot, like, let's say Brandon didn't shoot more threes, but he played faster. Like, I might look at it a little bit differently. Like, if I saw Brandon just being offensively more willing to be free flowing, maybe that changes my thoughts on him shooting a crazy amount of threes. Because DeMar DeRozan don't, Jimmy Butler don't, but we don't view them the same. Now, the difference is that, like, for the past few years, so on and so forth, like DeMar and Jimmy have been, 1 or 1A, 1B on their, on their teams, but there are many games that they've tried to find different ways of, like, they pick their spots a lot more. And you either would say that Brandon is learning how to pick his spots more around other talented players, or is unwilling consistently to. And that's what he's going to have to learn, I would say, how to do. I don't think it's all really about shooting, though. I think it's more to that situation, that story with him.
So when you pick your spots in games, I would say it's safe to say that you master the game. You become mastery in that form of the game. I can see where DeMar DeRozan. I think DeMar DeRozan doesn't have any offensive weaknesses besides shooting the three. I mean, he got a damn good. I'd even go so far to say DeMar got an elite handle. He still has great athleticism.
Yeah.
He mid range. He's a master of it. I don't see him take bad mid range shots. I don't think Brandon is a master of it yet, because Brandon still takes very difficult shots. DeMar puts himself in the best spot to get the best shot, and whether that be and even better, DeMar is likely going to get a foul in these situations. He's going to draw a foul.
DeMar's a point getter.
Yeah.
So he puts himself, like, he just DeMar ain't a bucket getter. DeMar's a point getter. So if that means an opportunity for a free throw, or that means the best available shot, not to say that DeMar don't take tough shots, but he's learned the art of, like, that mixture between taking shots at the spot or figuring out how to get you out of position, manipulating out of that triple threat that will either end up at free throws or end up in him taking a shot that nobody really gonna be upset about.
So, with that being said, Brandon is a very good mid-range player, but he doesn't get to the free throw line a lot. He's not a point getter, and
he can be.
This. He can be. He has all the potential. He has all the skill to do it, but I'm just saying that
he's stubborn, bro.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. He's stubborn.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But now it's time. He has to break a lot of what. So it's funny, like, when I was watching the Saints play today, right? The first thing I thought about, like, damn, like, and I tweeted, I'm like, how bad was Pete Carmichael? Like, and if you think about it, right, Pete Carmichael had glory days in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of some really successful historic offenses, like a crucial part of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the game changed and he didn't. So now you look at somebody like Clint Kubiak, who comes in with more modern, more, just an offensive system that fits what today is about. And you're talking about pretty much 80% of the same offensive personnel, and so far 2 weeks in, they score 40 points back to back. They look completely different. So I'm like, man, like, how bad was Pete Carmichael? And whether he was bad or not, I do know what he was. He either was tired or he was stubborn, because he didn't adapt. He didn't evolve to what the game asked of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with Brandon, it's similar, right? No one cares what Pete did 2 years ago. No one cares, or 6 years ago. No one cares about the glory days. No one cares about what Brandon did 3 years ago anymore. Everybody keep talking about Phoenix. They keep talking about, 2021. That's a long time. What about today? What about now? And Brandon gotta figure out. This isn't solely a Brandon Ingram show, but I've been saying it enough. Brandon got to figure out how to reinvent himself now, today, what that person looks like.
Man, listen, man. As much as we talk about BG and Turk, you know what I'm saying. In basketball terms, too, man, the game go pass you by one day. You just gotta look up and you gotta look at the horizon, and you gotta understand. You know, are you moving with the horizon, or is the sun moving past you? You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at the sun in the background, it's setting in your particular area. Either you gotta figure out how I can stay in the sunshine, or you just gotta be okay with understanding that, well, I'm not gonna get the dollar that I want because my game is not. Look, you don't play fast. It's not an exciting brand of basketball. You're not athletic. You're not. You don't play above the rim. You don't shoot threes. You know what I'm saying?
So right, part of the show we talk about analytics, right? We're talking about what predicts a good fortune. One of the things you mentioned was the free throw line, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I mentioned was pace. Yeah. Well, here's an analytic from last year. Brandon's at his best when he gets down here. 820 drives, 54.5 field goal percentage on drives, robust, 9.8 assist percentage, low turnover percentage at what's that 5? Shot an outstanding percentage, 72% at the rim, meaning his efficiency would skyrocket if many of his drives did not end up in contested pull-ups. Need more down here, BI in 25. So that's back to what I mentioned, right? If he shot less threes, or he shot the same amount of threes that he shot last year, but he got downhill more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, looking at these numbers, shit ends up well when he chooses to versus going to what's comfortable in that moment and what he wants to do versus what helps. I mean, not only just best for him, but best overall for the team. You get more of that, then you ultimately see a better player. You see less contested twos. Like, this tells it all. Has nothing to do with the amount of threes that he takes. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I don't think threes are the whole the end all be all of the situation, because you can still be a very good player. And he is a very good player. But as far as like what we asking or what they're asking from him, he can do that without taking the threes. I mean, he definitely does need to take the threes. But like people, saying he got to come in and take 6-7 a game. And I just don't see him. I don't see him changing his game like that so quickly. But anyways, them 820 drives, man, let's kick it up to 1,000. Right? Like you talk about we talked about Brandon's lack of getting to the free throw line. And look, I get it. You taking a beating because you got bigger players down there. Yes, that's a little crazy. That's a little crazy.
And it's like the emphasis on like what you said. Just but go ahead.
My fault. You taking it's punishment. You know what I'm saying? Like
you gotta pay a toll, bro. You gotta pay a toll.
It's a physical game down there. So if you but I'm saying if you're gonna end up taking these drives, you might as well walk away with the free throws. And I know he's not the one not calling the fouls. I'm just saying though, more drives per game will equal more attempts at the free throw line. It will be more chances to go to the free throw line. And
it's just good overall basketball. It creates great basketball possessions.
And look at the efficiency at the rim though. Like, that's insane, dog.
Yep.
You if I'm BI and I'm looking at that, I'd be like, yo, I gotta drive more. I got to. If the coaching staff, if I'm the coaching staff and I'm looking at that, Brandon, you gotta drive more. You have to.
And and look, like, it's ironic, shooting and driving is probably going to, the combination of such shooting threes and driving with the basketball it's what he has to do more of, period. It's what you're gonna have to do to create winning basketball regardless, right? In changing the perception, because you're not gonna have the basketball as much with adding DeJounte Murray and still having CJ and Zion looking like he's in the best shape of his career, having Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. You won't have the basketball. You're gonna be in the corner for some possessions. You're gonna be at the top of the key. You're gonna be a secondary piece in some looks. Yeah. But you can still be a part of really good basketball possessions and plays and create something for your own if you are off ball, which is part of the gripe with Brandon. Him being as engaged and as deadly off ball as sometimes he can be on ball, limiting dribbles. Shout out to Grub. We talked about it on a show that me and him did a couple weeks ago. He can do that, and he can raise his off ball profile. Shooting and driving obviously is going to matter. But it's also obviously going to be effective for him as well.
So I'm looking at I was trying to find this. In 2021, he averaged 11.9 drives per game. CJ averaged 12.8 drives per game. I was trying to see let's see. 2022, he averaged 13.6. 2023, he averaged 13 even. He gotta damn, Zion averaged 17, which is on brand for Zion. I think Brandon, if Brandon giving you at least, I don't know, let's say 15 to 16 drops per game, I would say probably 18 would be, ideal. But check this out. 63 games played, 13 drops per game. He averaged 6.1 field goal attempts. He shot 50%, 82% from the free throw line. Let's see. He's averaging 5 passes a game. His pass, and we have the stat right here to show it anyway, but 9.8 assists during that time. So it's not even not just the efficiency at the rim. It's when you do drive, you damn near averaging 10 assists %. And you're getting players involved, you're getting everybody else involved. And he was responsible, I think the points responsible for, I think it was I forgot, I just had it. I just lost it. But anyway, like 64% of the team's points when he drives.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's it's that simple. And it just so happens that these numbers here represent something, I think that if I'm him, I'm staring at every single day.
Yeah.
We're not I don't think anybody, bro, is asking Brandon to be a 15 point per game scorer. I'm not asking him to just turn into Andre Iguodala. I'm not asking him to limit himself and cost himself money.
Yeah.
But he does have to evolve with the times, and it's not like he has to make a large adjustment to do so. We're talking small tweaks. Do more of some of the things that obviously work for you.
Yep.
And take the shots that the game asks you to take. You do those two things, bro. He's improved defensively, off ball and on ball. He's gotten stronger. Yep. He's a better rebounder. He's an elite passer. But you do those two things, couple more threes a game, and a few more drives, and everything changes for him.
Man. When you look at the Pelicans only have 2 guys averaging, well, I guess you could say CJ too, because it's 9.9. So let's round up. You got 3 guys averaging over 10 drives a game.
Yeah.
So you add DeJounte to that mix. I would say that's 4 guys. If CJ probably go take a step back in that drives per game department, but you got Zion at 17, Brandon at 13. And also we talked about, speaking of, while we still talking about Brandon, right? Shout out to B-Ball Index. The top 10 forwards in self-created shot-making efficiency. I feel like we have literally, in a roundabout way, spoken about this during. See, the thing about us is this: while you may feel like we've been negative, at the same time, like we giving Brandon his flowers because we have said multiple times he's a good basketball player. We just talking about the pros and cons of the game. There is no biasness in the situation. I want Brandon to succeed. Like I want him to be good. I want him to be better than maybe he want to be sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I think me and you had a conversation the other day about being complacent in your spot. And I think that, you know, he may be looking at DeMar DeRozan and he like, damn, I could like he could be better than that with his God-given ability. But anyways, top 10 forwards in self-created shot making efficiency. BI number one. BI number one on the list.
That's telling. That's telling.
Like, what else do you need to know?
That's telling you that of course the talent isn't a question. The player we talked about it on the Pro Talk show, like attribute for attribute, like Brandon clearing a lot of dudes, but that ain't what it's about no more. That's not what it's about no more. It's now the next step for him, the next challenge for him. He's you know, if you ask him, he'll tell you that he's responded or at least tried to respond to different challenges each and every season. Now he got one that he maybe that he's been late on.
Mm-hmm.
But now he got to do it. He got to do it if he wants to get the money that he's inspiring to get or stay in a certain status in this league. Because like people not those that, you know, there are folks that just aren't, they may read a box score and they may not see exactly how Brandon got the 20 points. They may not see how he got the 24. They may not see. I see the positive and the negative. And I think he's an asset on this team. I think he can be. But it's no longer good enough to be an asset. Well, you know, an asset. He has to find a way to maximize that and helping him win this team or helping win with this team. And it's kind of tied to his situation right now and his overall value. So, but let's move on here. Trey Murphy also at the bottom of that list, number 9. Let's move on to another topic. I don't know if it's controversial, but it might be another topic in regards to the Pelicans, rim protection. But it's really all around this, dated around the center position. How are they going to protect the basket? How are they going to rebound? How are they going to stop drives? How are they going to deal with opposing threats? If they in small lineups, if Zion starts at quote unquote center. Here's this. Top 10 helpers in rim protection. Zion ranked 9th last season. What are your thoughts?
Shocked the shit out of me. I mean, I didn't think he'd be top 10. But shout out to Sam Hauser. But I didn't think he would be top 10. But that's a good sign. I think that if he wants to be everything that he tells us he wants to be, as far as like MVP, a legend in the game, all-stars, you know, NBA champion, something he got to commit to. And it can't be a when you feel like it type deal. It's got to be a situation of like, this is who I am. This is what we're gonna be. You know, we talked about DeJounte setting the tone with his actions on social media and being vocal. We all know that Zion is not vocal, but if he does this, right, he don't have to be vocal. He don't have to be vocal. Zion is a guy who could probably go 1 through 5 if he committed to it. And I don't really think that's hyperbole. I think this is a good sign. Especially, you know, we talked about we gonna do a show with somebody soon who talked about this, and you've been talking about this, and I've been giving you pushback on the situation because like I didn't see it for real until we did a show tonight, and I was just talking about it because it's always like how is Zion gonna do this? How are the Pelicans gonna do that? And then I was just kind of like, well, fuck it, man. It's two sides to a court. They're gonna have to play to the other side of it too. Now, you know, it's on the Pelicans to take advantage of the mismatches, but just in this case with the rim protection, yeah, man, like, you know, and a lot of it, I don't know how they. I gotta get more context into how they broke it down, but I would assume that a lot of this is weak side help.
Okay.
Because I mean, you know, like if Zion is not necessarily the primary rim defender a lot of times, like he's not gonna be the deterrent. You see a lot of players him, you know, being the getting the opportunity to catch a guy either slipping or like he had to go around Herb Jones, and then when he's sidestepping trying to shoot a floater, Zion is like there to, you know, clear it out. But either way, I'm good with it.
Yeah, you know, and I think if we're predicting how this works into good fortune for the Pelicans this particular season, well, you know, I think even if you pencil in Zion as a center, which I think with this particular team and how they're set up and the lineup that I think will be out there, if he is the quote unquote center, you can't look at him as you would look at a traditional center, because even in lineups, small ball lineups that the Pelicans have had over the past few years, or specifically like last year, there were moments where the team was rotating defensively, and Dyson Daniels was the last line of defense. Herb Jones was the last line of defense. Trey Murphy was the last line of defense. So part of the, like, you got to look at him as more as a part of a machine defensively, because that's what you have to be when no one on your team is in certain lineups is going to be taller than 6'8" or 6'9". Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think for them, that's where something like this top 10 helpers become, because it is a lot of help. It's a lot of help and a lot of rotating. So if I'm running from the corner off of a screen to help for you, then you in turn got to either go into the nail, you go into the wing, or you rotate in the corner. It's a lot of communication. So if it's also, it may be my job to watch the cutter back door. If I take that cutter coming backside, then you got, that's crazy. Baseline, let's say it's Brandon. Brandon may have to rotate to the top of the key, but those are nuances of defense, right? Coach Cyprian would be a really good person to talk about this with. But the point is with Zion, like, it's not just simple him closing out weak side and getting blocks or getting steals, but it's going to be important for him because it's what last year when he was at his best, we saw a lot more of it. It's when his activity is at his best, when he's in the best shape and he's feeling like himself. It transforms everything. And what do those things do? Those stops, those turnovers. Like, if the Pelicans are going to sacrifice rebounds, guess what they got to do? Make teams turn over the basketball. Right. So when he did that, it works right next to what should be a strength of this team if they're going to be small, where the players are going to be out there getting in transition. Nobody should want to see the Pelicans in transition. Everybody keep talking about rebounds, but when they were winning, when they were playing best last season in these small lineups, it wasn't that they were just out rebounding folks. They knew that they couldn't do that against certain matchups. They were taking the basketball away. And when we talk about Zion in April alone, bro, they played 7 games. He had the most steals, look, the second most steals of any month. And they only played 7 games in April. He had 16 steals. The month before in March, he had 17, which was his season high for any month. He played 14 games in March, Lito. So he played 50% less games in April and had 16 steals. He had 9 blocks in April, which would finish second. He had 12 in March, 12 in February, where he played 14 in 11 games. So that should tell you all you need to that should show you all you need to see about what he can do. And I think it reads into, it's not just blocks, not just that, it's his ability to force turnovers. He got really good at that to end the season.
You know, it's so funny because I remember being on Reddit, Zion's rookie year, and then I have to Google it, but I can't think of how to post one off the top of my head, the title of the post. But a dude was like, teams were shooting 80% at the rim on Zion Williamson, like specifically on him when he was the primary rim protector.
Yep.
And the question was, does this change how you look at him as a generational talent? Because coming into the NBA, that was one of the things that you were hoping that would translate for him is him being a defender, weak side shot blocker, a chase down guy, a guy who would just cause havoc in the passing lanes and shit like that. Draymond, yeah, I would say, but better. But that man is a multiple time defensive player of the year, so
and crazy.
Yeah, but he was just kind of like, does this change how you look as Zion Williamson? And he was like, this is not a hate post, but it's matter of fact, damn, that's crazy. I found it. Okay. Opponents have shot 41 of 50 shots, 82% when Zion is the primary rim defender. How does this change your projection as an NBA defender? He said, this isn't a hate post, but one of the most interesting questions about Zion is whether or not he would successfully translate into an interior defender, small ball center. It's crazy. A la Draymond Green.
There you go.
He said playing defense in college basketball is so different from the NBA, and it's hard to project how players will develop. So far, it's hard. So far, this small sample size, it appears that Zion has struggled to deter shots at the rim when playing center. Furthermore, his block rate is 1.2%. This dude, like, he did his fucking homework, and that's why I remember this post so much, because like he just went into so much detail, and he just asked a lot of questions. Just went into his bag, basically saying that Zion's wingspan is the thing that was kind of deterring him from being as great as these guys was. I'd also like that Zion's motor and being in shape was also another thing. But he ends it with this. What do y'all think? Can Zion achieve defensive player of the year type potential as a small ball five? Would he be better as a forward defender guarding big wings? Or maybe we can just chalk it up to rookie struggles. That post stuck with me because, I mean, obviously living in the season, like, he didn't really get a whole lot of run his rookie year. But you always expecting more. Seeing this, I would like to put this into Reddit if I could, to that post, and just be like, like, what changed? I want to ask you, what changed?
Effort, shape, attention to detail. Zion's defensive fundamentals had to improve, and they still had some flaws. Zion goes with some up fakes he shouldn't. You know what I mean? He'll have some lazy closeouts. He'll have some lazy reaches. But I think last year, what changed is that not only was the he started to get into better shape, he started to really like take certain shit personally. He wanted the Kawhi Leonard matchup. Remember, it was one Clippers game. It might have been in New Orleans, and we were asking like, oh, maybe it was in Los Angeles, and we kept going through like, hey, well, who's gonna guard James Harden? Who's gonna guard Kawhi? Who's gonna guard Westbrook? Who's gonna, like, how are they gonna Paul George? And I don't think many of us predicted that Zion would take the Kawhi matchup. A lot of people say it hurt, but he wanted to guard Kawhi. How many times have you heard him say that? So that shows somebody who was tapping into just a different level of competitive, nature, and just knowing like, hey, maturity in total. Like, I remember when Zion was struggling with his defensive reputation, and I didn't say he cleared it. Folks were saying, well, we don't have the same smoke for Luka. I was like, well, dude, Luka ain't the athlete Zion is. Luka, we've never thought like Luka could come into the best shape physically possible. Right. And I still would not expect him or ask for him to be a good defender. You don't have the same smoke for Trae Young. Trae Young's 170 pounds. He's 6 foot whatever. Like, there's certain limitations that he'll never be able to get behind, get ahead of. The list goes on and on. Zion doesn't have that excuse. When you watch Zion's defensive struggles were on Zion. There were more things, like you said, that were left on the table because of either effort, because of shape, because of attention to detail, like that kind of those kind of things. I think last year and in the beginning of the year prior, once he got into his bag, he started feeling like himself again. You started to see a different dude out there get into a stance, taking switches against Steph Curry and doing his best to stay in front of him. Chaz will bring up the how he would be caught in switches with Colin Sexton and making Colin Sexton have to reset a play. Colin Sexton, these are guards we talking about. But all it is, bro, was just applying himself, but also doing the right things from a preparation standpoint as well. And I think he may have turned the corner. We got to see him start the season off this way, though.
Not to hijack the show, but I just kind of wanted to put some just like some stats into it, just so we can see the difference. Is this visible to you? Can you see this?
Nah, it's a little far away.
Difficult to see. Let's see. I don't know if I could. Yeah, I can't. It's okay. I was trying to show the. Oh, you know what?
Hold up. So if you go, you know what though? If you go full screen, you can see it. I just went full screen.
Okay.
Right.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
All right. So this is his I was just showing the difference. Like, this is his rookie year.
Okay.
Right. So there's only 24 games played, but you see, for anybody reading this at home, this is defended field goals attempted. This is defended field goal percentage. This is the frequency. Obviously, field goal percentage and a difference. The percentage points differences, right? So just to go from here to, let's say, here. Right? Now, this is 29 games. So we compare 24 to 29 because this was last year. But let's move forward. All right? 70 games. Like, you see the big drop off in the difference of this shit, though? Like,
yeah.
This is just showing me effort. It's just showing me giving a fuck. Like, if we just keeping it totally real, it's just he just cares. He cares to be more than I think what he is. It's kind of like when, in a lesser sense, like Griffin kept getting hurt. He wanted to show you he was more than a dunker also. Yeah, I have these skills. I can. It's not that like I can just do this one thing, but Chris Paul is my point guard, so I don't have to do these things.
Yeah.
But when your game evolves and matures, like, I think the best Griffin of Blake we was gonna get was in Detroit, but unfortunately the game robbed him of that. Right. But Zion, in this case, defensively, like, I'm more than just a dunker. I'm more than just an offensive player. And he can be that. Now, can he be defensive player of the year? I don't think so. Like, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But can he be a guy who can be the catalyst on defense? Yes, he can.
It takes a lot of effort and a lot of maturity. Let's move forward, Lito, to our last section here. Speaking of maturity, CJ McCollum.
Yes, sir.
So here is also B-ball index. Shout out to him. Top 10 in 3-point functional versatility. CJ ranks 5th, and he's around some great shooters. Some that strengths are with dribbling and creating threes, some that are more so off ball. CJ is there, bro, in some great company with Paul George, Klay Thompson, Duncan Robinson, Steph Curry, of course, the GOAT. You got Kyrie, Anthony Simons, Jamal Murray, Jalen Brunson, and Desmond Bain. And then here, you brought this up with a show we did with Five recently. Here you got guarded catch and shoot field goal attempts, guarded catch and shoot effective field goal percentage. Lito, elite. I want to know what you think. Elite, right? But you know what this tells me?
What's that?
Something we don't say about CJ.
What's that?
CJ's one of the best fucking shooters in the league, brother.
And he's great at playing without the basketball. Yes,
like we talk about his ability. We talked about his ability to create. That was one of the the special things that had us all interested when the trade was announced, and the different roles he's had to play last year was, can he be more of a point guard? Can he get guys involved? Can he do this assist and all this other stuff, combo guards, whatever you want to talk about. But one of the things, oddly, while he's been praised for his mid-range shooting, and he's a 3-level scorer, probably more of a 2-level scorer at this stage. But one of the things we don't say, I don't hear enough, is him being one of the best shooters in basketball. And the analytics say that he is.
Yeah. I mean, who are we to who are we to argue against that? I mean, man, he is an elite company right there. That's Isaiah Joe, I believe, Kyrie, LeBron. I don't know. I think that who is that underneath him? Is that Sam? Is that Sam Hauser or is that Peyton Pritchard?
Who are you looking at?
Like directly below Isaiah Joe.
That's Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, man, Isaiah Joe is a great shooter. Bron is Bron. Kyrie's an elite shooter.
Mm.
CJ's an elite shooter, guys. Like he's an elite shooter, man. So much so his frequency, 55% of his shots are 3-pointers, which is 9 attempts basically on the season and 4 made. He shot 46.6% the percentage. I mean, I don't know how else to break that down for you. Like he's a fucking good shooter.
And great. And the reason that is,
yeah.
Think about the players and their situations that he's improved, what he's surrounded by, right? Peyton Pritchard, role player. Kawhi Leonard had to sacrifice, sometimes has to play like a role player due to the ball dominant guys that are around him. Isaiah Joe, role player. Kyrie Irving, kind of changed, like Luka's the guy on that team. And this is catch and shoot. LeBron plays with another superstar. But so many other, Michael Porter Jr. you see over here. Third best player, fourth best player on his team. Paul George, played with Kawhi Leonard last season. Similar situation. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of different individuals here that have had to change their game or in situations where it's not like they're dribble. And it's a reason that they have to be on this list. And when you're predicting and you're projecting towards next year, you're going to need more of this from CJ because you added another guy that's going to need the ball in his hands that most of, if you're him and you're thinking about where am I going to get a majority of my assists on drives, he's one of the dudes I'm looking at this if he's going to be out there. And obviously this is telling me that 40% of the time, 50% of the time, 60% of the time, my odds are good that I'm getting my assists.
Look, man, I don't know what B-Ball University got the stats from, but like when I go to NBA.com and I try to break it up, they got it at catch and shoot. Now this is specifically catch and shoot. 3-point field goal percentage frequency, he shot 31%, the frequency of it. He shot 2.5. He made 2.5 on 5 attempts, which is 48.2%. However, when you go to pull-ups, he shot 44% on pull-up threes, 4 attempts a game, 2 made, almost 2, 1.8. It's like he clears your team. He clears your team on any style of shooting, whether it's catch and shoot, a pull-up three, overall 3-point shooting percentage. Like he clears your team.
However you want me to shoot. You want me to shoot off a step back? Okay. You want me to You want me to dribble 3 or 4 or 5 times and kind of create at the end of a shot? Like, okay. You want me to stand in this corner and shoot? I could do that. You said transition, pull up. I got that too. You want me to run a play, come off this curl? Yep. Like, that's what I think of. And just like having that ability, being that versatile, it kind of goes back to what we talked about with Brandon. Like, the more avenues that you give or that you can show that you can help, it makes you more I don't say usable. I want to find a better word for that, but it just allows a team to be able to do more with you or for you. Mm-hmm. And it's a challenge that we all gotta create for ourselves. What I don't care what I did I'm not, bro, when we record, I'm not thinking about what the last show was about. I felt like it was a bad show or a good show. I'm thinking about, like, how can this show be the best show that I put out? And it's kind of like you got to be a little delusional, to be honest. You got to be a little delusional because CJ's 32, 33 years old.
Yeah.
I guarantee you in his mind, he's thinking it's going to be the best year I ever had.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? But the only way you could do that as the game changes and you age is to continue to add more ways to affect games within what makes you great. And this and everything that we heard from him last year and everything that we saw and the things that, articles that were written and the stats and the numbers that themselves said, no, like what, remember that Kanye Kobe thing? We're also talking about it. Like, can you be the same? What Kobe said to Kanye? He said, are you capable of being a different animal but the same beast?
What the fuck are you talking about, Kobe? Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing. And CJ, I think, really started to take that turn last year. Big transition for him for the first time in his career versus being the second guy or first guy on certain teams and situations. Now he just got to continue adding to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think he can do that. And I think he probably will come back a better shooter. And I think that, you know what I'm saying? I think that he just gonna just keep, evolving into, I don't know, bro, but he got a lot more basketball left in his tank too. So, yeah, I mean, shit. I think we hit all points.
That's a good show.
That's what we do, man. Listen, man. In the words of the great Atlanta legend, shout out to Rich Homie Quan, rest in peace. And in the words of another great Atlanta legend, Chris was talking about, what we did on the last pod. Like, the last pod don't exist after the last pod get recorded. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like Dre said, man, if I live by the beat, like you live check to check. If you don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck. You know what I'm saying? That's just shout out to Dre, man. Dre got some.
Why you so because your Southern dialect is so strong?
Yeah,
some people hear that and heard you and until the lyrics were mentioned, it sounded like you said Drake, but you really said Dre.
I'd have never.
And then I mean, well, he is an Atlanta legend according to K-Dot. So not only you did that, but you ain't even finesse it. You was reading it like Justin would read it.
I ain't want to rap it for him. Like, I ain't want to.
You supposed to rap it, bro. You supposed to rap it.
It's hard.
We like neck to neck.
It's hard, but it's Dre though. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't even feel like cigarettes.
I don't feel like I'm worthy enough to even like say it in his cadence. From Virginia. Shout out to Virginia. Yeah, man. But ATL is a classic. Everything they ever did was a classic. Greatest group of all time. That's all I got. If y'all got anything in the comments where y'all want to, you disagree, you want to fight with us, you want to argue, man, pull up, man. Let's talk about it, man. We got time. We be podding, man. If y'all got anything y'all want us to talk about before the season start, what I'm saying? Shout out to Charles Pierre. We did a show on the coaching style between Borrego and Willie. You know what I'm saying? So we did that. If y'all got anything y'all want us to do a show about, please, man, put it in the comments. We definitely will do that for y'all, man. Most importantly, though,
I'm not gonna lie and portray this ultimate poise like I've had it figured out. Nah, I just didn't quit. That's the only distinguishing quality from me and probably whoever else going through this or went through this or is gonna go through this, is that I ain't quit. I went through every emotion. I went through every emotion with trying to pursue what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I think that what gonna separate whoever's gonna try to go for something is that you ain't gonna quit.
Now, you know, you were gonna have Lala and Justin really upset with you.
oh,
So I'm gonna take care of it. Yeah, see?
Oh,
Yo, man, as he would say, peace and blessings. Y'all be good. We holler at y'all when we holler at y'all. Word from DraftKings, and we out of here. What up, the 5?
The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sports.
That is not the right DraftKings one. Why is that still here? See? Oh man, they ain't even got it loaded into your junk.
Damn, man, I'm bootleg, man. That's crazy. They ain't got no love for Snoop and Death Row?
They ain't got no love for Snoop Dogg. Man, see, I mean, this whole time I thought it was one. Well, shout out to DraftKings, man. Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook, man. Y'all know what to do, man. BOOT, you know what I'm saying? And yeah,
I seen him throw that ball. I was like, oh my God.
If you don't move